US President Joe Biden on his visit to Israel backed his allies' stance, blaming Hamas militants for a rocket strike on a hospital that killed hundreds in war-torn Gaza and has inflamed anger across West Asia. The Hamas militant group blamed the blast on an Israeli airstrike, while the Israeli military claimed a rocket was misfired by militants. Our correspondent Siddhant Sibbal reports. Take a look.
Charred vehicles and belongings scattered in front of Gaza's Al-Ahli al-Arabi hospital, obliterated in what Hamas claims was an Israeli airstrike that took 500 lives.
There was no warning before the hospital was targeted. There were about 3,000 people who were taking shelter here. While we were working at the hospital and without any warning, around 6:30 p.m., the hospital was targeted by shelling.
Gazans combed through the debris, collecting the bodies of the dead in the battered enclave.
شوف الناس كيف ماتت هذول كلهم مدنيين فيش سلاح معاهم.
In besieged Gaza, the hospital blast stoked fresh horrors after 12 days of sustained bombardment that Israel says targeted Hamas and has destroyed entire city blocks. In a bid to diffuse tensions, President Joe Biden arrived in Tel Aviv, embracing the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and offering solidarity.
I was deeply saddened and outraged by the explosion at the hospital in Gaza yesterday. And based on what I've seen, it appears as though it was done by the other team, not you. But there's a lot of people out there not sure. So we've got to overcome a lot of things.
That is how close the US president came to giving a clean chit to Israel. But the horror of the hospital deaths threatened to derail his high-stakes visit to the region. Jordan cancelled the summit between King Abdullah II, Biden, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. The Arab world is furious. Angry rallies were held in Lebanon, Jordan, Libya, Yemen, Tunisia, Turkey, Morocco, Iran, and the Israeli-occupied West Bank. The United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, which both established ties with Israel in the Abraham Accords of 2020, condemned Israel for the hospital attack. Egypt called the deliberate bombing a clear violation of international law, while Saudi Arabia said it was a heinous crime committed by the Israeli forces. The Israeli army said it has evidence that militants were responsible for the blast that killed hundreds at a Gaza hospital. Hamas refuted the claim.
Intelligence from few sources that we have in our hands indicates that the Islamic Jihad is responsible for the failed rocket launch which hit the hospital in Gaza.
Shock over the hospital strike could well undermine the wider purpose of Biden's visit, even as the Israel-Hamas war threatens to spread to the wider West Asia.
The anger over the hospital explosion could meanwhile undermine the wider purpose of President Biden's visit, even as he tries to prevent the Israel-Hamas war engulfing the wider West Asian region.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.